In August of 2022, an unsuspecting family in Minu Jo, South Auckland, won a routine online auction for an abandoned storage unit. They thought they were collecting forgotten household items, old furniture, and discarded boxes. They loaded a trailer, brought the contents back to their suburban home, and began unpacking. Among the items were two matching, heavy suitcases bound tightly shut. When they unzipped the first bag, a foul odor filled the driveway. Inside, wrapped in layers of plastic, were the decomposed remains of a young child. Terrified, the family called the police immediately. When investigators opened the second suitcase, they found a second small body. Forensic examiners faced a daunting task. The bodies had been decaying in total darkness inside that metal locker for 4 whole years. DNA analysis eventually identified the victims as 8-year-old Yuna Jo, and her 6-year-old brother, Minu. How could 2 young children vanish for 4 years without a single missing persons report ever being filed? This is the full breakdown of the Auckland Suitcase Murders. To understand how investigators pieced together what happened, they had to look back at the history of the family. In 1993, a 13-year-old girl named Ji-eun Lee migrated from South Korea to New Zealand with her parents. Years later, after completing her education, she settled in Auckland. It was at a local church, where she served as a Sunday school teacher, that she met a young man named Yuna Jo. Ian worked as a supervisor at Auckland Airport. He was quiet, soft-spoken, and deeply religious. In 2006, Ji-eun Lee and Yuna Jo were married. 3 years later, in September 2009, their daughter Yuna was born. In March 2012, they welcomed their son, Minu. Minu was born with a cleft palate, which gave him a noticeable speech impediment that required extra care. To neighbors and teachers, the family appeared stable and loving. They settled into a home in Papatoetoe, West Auckland. Yuna and Minu attended Papatoetoe South School, where teachers described them as bright and well-behaved. Their mother, who went by the name Haekyung Lee, was viewed as a devoted parent, actively involved in her children's education. But behind closed doors, tragedy was about to strike. In 2016, Yuna Jo was diagnosed with aggressive cancer. For over a year, he fought the disease, but in November 2017, he passed away. The loss shattered the foundation of the household. Court records later revealed that Lee never told 8-year-old Yuna or 6-year-old Minu that their father had died. Instead, she kept his passing a secret from the children, claiming he was simply away. In the months following the funeral, Lee's financial behavior changed drastically. Bank statements showed massive, sudden expenditures. She booked luxury suites at the Hilton in Taupo. She took the children to Australia, staying at expensive resorts on the Gold Coast. In June 2018, she spent over $32,000 in weeks during a trip to Queenstown. By late June 2018, the family's savings were completely exhausted. Forensic investigators pieced together the final days of Yuna and Minu's lives using digital footprints and toxicology data. Relatives last saw the children alive on April 26, 2018. Digital records revealed that on the afternoon of June 27, 2018, 8-year-old Yuna and 6-year-old Minu logged into their favorite video game, Minecraft. They unlocked achievements on their console and logged off. It was the last time the digital world would ever register their activity. According to evidence presented by prosecutors, Haekyung Lee obtained a prescription for nortriptyline, a potent tricyclic antidepressant. Crown lawyers alleged that she administered a lethal dose of the drug to both children, likely masking it in sweet fruit juice. Toxicology reports confirmed high concentrations of nortriptyline in both remains. While the advanced decomposition made it difficult to determine if the drug alone caused death or if asphyxiation followed, pathologists concluded the children had fatal concentrations of nortriptyline in their bodies. What followed was a systematic series of actions. Lee wrapped the bodies in plastic sheets and blankets, securing them inside 2 matching suitcases. She drove to a commercial storage facility in South Auckland, rented a unit, and placed the suitcases inside. She paid the initial fees, locked the door, and walked away. Shortly after, she legally changed her name, booked a business-class flight, and departed for South Korea. For 4 years, the storage locker sat untouched. Relatives assumed the children were living overseas with their mother, while school authorities lost track of their enrollment. Inside the locker, the children lay undiscovered, until the storage fees went unpaid in 2022. When the auction buyers alerted police on August 11, 2022, New Zealand authorities launched an international homicide investigation. Detectives traced the locker's original rental contract directly back to Haekyung Lee. Interpol issued an international red notice. South Korean authorities joined the effort, tracking mobile phone signals and banking activity. In September 2022, police in Ulsan, South Korea, located a woman living in a high-rise apartment complex. Tactical teams moved in and arrested 42-year-old Haekyung Lee. By November 2022, the South Korean Ministry of Justice approved her extradition back to New Zealand to face 2 counts of murder. In September of 2025, the double murder trial commenced at the High Court in Auckland, presided over by Justice Jeffrey Venning. Haekyung Lee entered pleas of not guilty. Throughout the proceedings, Lee sat in the dock with her head low, long hair shielding her face. Her legal defense team did not deny that she caused the deaths of her children. Instead, they mounted an insanity defense. Defense attorneys argued that the death of her husband triggered a severe psychotic breakdown, claiming she suffered from major depressive disorder with delusional features. They asserted that in her compromised state of mind, she believed she was protecting her children from a difficult life without their father. Crown prosecutors countered that argument with physical evidence of intent and awareness. Under New Zealand law, an insanity defense requires proving the accused was incapable of knowing their actions were morally wrong. Prosecutor highlighted Lee's deliberate steps: obtaining the medication, concealing the bodies, renting a storage space under contract, changing her legal name, and purchasing a one-way ticket abroad. The prosecution argued these actions demonstrated a clear understanding of wrongfulness and a conscious effort to evade detection. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours. They rejected the insanity defense, finding Haekyung Lee guilty on both counts of murder. On November 26, 2025, she was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Yuna Jo was 8 years old. Minu Jo was just 6. They were 2 innocent young lives cut short under tragic circumstances, leaving a lasting impact on all those who worked to bring their story to light. What are your thoughts on this case and the court's final verdict? Share your perspective respectfully in the comments below. If you found this breakdown detailed and informative, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell for future case analyses on Unclosed Mysteries. Thank you for watching, and stay vigilant.